Hey, what's up? My name is Thomas van Opstal here in the Atlantisstudio in Amsterdam, where I've recorded these live sessions. Today's live sessions we're going over is by Fullcrate Gaidaa&Luke Burr. So let's dive right in. In this series, I'll run you through my thought process when recording an entire band live in the room together, why I made certain choices, why I used the mics I did, why I placed the instruments and musicians the way I did, and how I used mic placement and polar patterns to get the right amount of spill. And yes, I'm saying the right amount of spill because the magic with live recording sessions is always in the spill. So let's dive right in and see what I did. Because YouTube is YouTube, I cannot really use the audio from the videos, so that will be on mute. If you're really curious to how it sounds and you want to check it out for yourself, the video is linked down below in the description. Ooh, nice and smoky. Okay, wow, there's a lot going on already. We can see the tape machine that's behind me right now. Yes, it's been here for a while. No, it doesn't work. We see Mr. Fullcrate on a bass. And there is an SPD over there as well, and there's some tom triggers. So that is very promising. Then we see Gaidaa with a lovely Disney shirt behind the Peluso P12. What can I say? It's a great mic. And we see Moog. That's probably also going to be a bass. We already know we have a bass guitar and we have a synth bass. So we've got two basses already. Okay, so we know that it's A Storm on a Summer's Day with Gaidaa and A Fool Getting Older with Luke Burr. This is promising. 2 tracks in one live session. She's starting off. We're not seeing too much yet. Fullcrate singing as well into an MD421. Usually I would go for maybe a condenser mic, but then he needs to take off a little bit too much space between him and the condenser mic, and we need to put a pop filter in front of it. It just didn't really work. And if there's more space between him and the mic, the vocal is less loud than the drum spill, which will come in later, because no, it won't only be DI this session. And I need to make sure that that's not getting in the way of each other. So that's why I went for a dynamic mic. Also, there's more vocalists, so that's why I didn't do an SM7B, which I usually do for stuff like this. But a 421, it's a great mic. You see that he's singing and he's playing the Moog. So the Moog is DI, there's no bass amp, there is no bass amp on the guitar, the bass guitar. It's all just DI. I want to keep it clean. I don't want to have any bass spill in the room because it's just gonna mess with all the other mics that I've got going on in the room. So it's probably just going to be Avalon, maybe a 1073. The Peluso P12 vocal mic is definitely going to a 1073, and then a CL1B, so that's getting the classic chain. And then we see a synth station. Nice. So we've got a Prophet, and we've got a Juno 60, and we've got a piano. Now the Prophet and the Juno are going straight DI into, I think I've probably used the Universal Audio 4710 because I like that on synths, because with the transistor tube blend knob, you can really push the synths to the front and the back of the mix already in the recording process. So that really gives me a lot of tone blending options. We've got the piano with 2 Coles. The stands look a bit funky because we needed to get it out of the shot and everything, but basically the Coles are right there. The Coles are fixed figure of 8. So that means if we have the piano over here, in a minute, you're going to see where the drums are, but there's going to be drums in the room. So we've got a Coles over here, which is figure of 8. We've got a Coles over here, which is figure of 8, which means that on this plane over here, the Coles are not going to pick up that much. It's only going to be down below where the piano is and on top where the roof is. So we're getting more piano sound and less drum sound. And that is exactly what I need. So even if I would have used 67s or 414s or something of that nature, I probably would have gone for a figure of 8 setting. We see a couple of vocal mics. We see 2 SM7Bs. What's that about? Who knows? We see a little bit of a drum kit over there. So we know that I did not put Cole's 4038s on the drum kit because they're on the piano already. But what did I do on the drum kit? And because there's drums in the room, I told you earlier that I'm going from the P12 to the 1073 to the CL1B. The CL1B is not doing that much. I don't want it to be triggered by the drums. I just wanted to give its tonal character and maybe compress a little bit. But if I see that it is going to be triggered by any of the drums, I'm going to pull up the threshold as soon as possible because I do not want to have that respond to any drums whatsoever. In post, I can maybe compress a little bit more, but on the way in, as soon as the compression is done, it's done. I cannot do anything about it. So if I record it with the CL1B being triggered by the drums, it's not gonna end well. So I wanna be a little bit more careful on that end. Okay, now we're going to drums. What do we have? Okay, so we've got 414s on overheads, 421 on tom, and then I think the C451 again on, oh, it's on both the snare top and on the hi-hat. It's a great snare top mic, the C451. I do like the older ones better that still have a transformer, but these new ones are really nice as well. RE20 on floor tom. Yeah, for those rim shot things, stuff like that, that just needs that extra little detail and that click. I just really like small diaphragm condensers. Okay, he is done with the bass, and now he is going over to the SPD. Okay, so they're playing together. So in the mix, I need to make sure that those are aligned because live drums and SPD sample drums are great together, but they can also really mess each other up and make for a not punchy drum sound. So you need to know that you've got a little bit more editing in the mix later on. Okay, some synths, and now he is on the piano again. You can see that they're switching songs, switching singers. And then it is a new song. And there's someone else. There is a Luke Burr behind the mic. And Crate has picked up the bass again, and he's playing bass. We go back to drums. Can we see what drum mics I used? Ah, it's just too foggy. And, what? There's 4 background singers now. When did they come in? They weren't there before because we saw 4 empty mics, right? But during the recording session, we actually opened the door, let them in on a part where there was enough DI sound that you wouldn't hear the door. So they snuck in there and got behind the mics. Nice piano playing, and then we're going over to the Prophet. So we need to make room for that in the mix. And then we've got 4 backing vocals. All SM7Bs, they just work. They do the job, you put them up, it works. Nice little couch for Gaidaa to chill. Snare bottom, I'm thinking it's a 414 as well, because I used to do that a lot, putting a lot of condensers on drums. I just really like how that sounds. Outside kick is probably going to be a 414 as well. Inside kick is beta 52. That's my usual practice, and that's usually what I do. Crate singing again and playing the Moogs. So there's a lot of stuff changing the entire time. Going back to the bass. So I need to make sure that all that low-end energy is the same coming from that bass guitar and the bass synth. And that I've got the same room for Gaidaa's vocal, that I have for Luke's vocal, that I've got enough room for the piano, and that the piano is taking up a lot of room, and then the synths together, the Prophet and the Juno, need to work together more, because he's probably not really going to play both synths, at least not the three of them, because he only has two hands, of course. But that's all things you need to take into account when you're going to record a session like that. The SM7Bs are actually a little bit of a disadvantage over here, because the drums are over there and the backing vocals are over there, and they're all super cardioid. So they've got a cardioid, a little bit of a tighter cardioid, and then a little thing on the back. So we've got cardioid and a little thing on the back. So some of them, the ones that are more towards the right to the door, they're going to pick up less of that spill, and then the others are going to pick up a little bit more of that spill, also because they're closer. If I would have had pure cardioids, maybe the ones closer to the drums would have been pure cardioid. Is it really going to make that much of a difference? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of stuff in post that you can do that can figure all of that stuff out. If you have music rebalanced by Isotope RX, that's going to take care of 90% of your issues spill-wise. But that doesn't take away the fact that you need to know how to position all the mics to make sure that you get the least amount of spill. Which is also why we put the vocal mic over there, also because RedBull wanted it to be in front of the logo, of course. But the null of the cardioid is facing towards the drums mostly. And then the piano is not going to be that loud that it's going to be picked up. The thing is with positioning a vocal mic that's really high up in the mix, that far away from drums, is that it's going to function as a room mic more and more. So somewhere in the distance between the vocal mic and the drums is the sweet spot of how much dry drums you're going to pick up with the mic versus how much reflections from the room you're going to pick up. And to me, there's no set rule in that. That is just trial and error and hoping that you position it correctly. Okay, so now I can see that crate is a bit far from the mic, which might create an issue because now the drummer is playing as well. So there might be more drums in his vocal mic versus the amount of his vocal in his vocal mic. So that might be an issue. Then that mic becomes more of a drum room mic than a vocal mic. So that's why you also need to stay close to that vocal mic to keep that drum spill to a minimum. And it's ending with the shot is sick. It's like the sun decided to join. And you see everyone here. Wow, what a shot. Okay, so we see that there is a beta 52 on the kick in, and then kick out is a 414. It's pretty far away from the kick, but it must have sounded right, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. And that was it for Fullcrate Gaidaa&Luke Burr, the live session here at the Atlantisstudio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please leave a like down below and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the techniques that I use, the positioning that I do, the microphones I use, what you would do differently. And if you have any other questions, just drop them down below and I would love to discuss all of that. That's it for me. Later.